Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Mr. Loki, and in this video I'll be talking about a huge potential change for Loki, a rework. Thanks to a loyal member of the Loki Union named Sorksy, who also hangs out on my Twitch stream sometimes, notified me about a Twitter post by Timeforge or Hi-Rez Ajax, which said, "It is clear to me that I have included an analysis of Loki in the rework discussion. This was when they talked about reverting Freya, changing Bastet and Odin's kit, and the gods they will not touch, such as Nox, Nuwa, and Ragni. We hear you on Loki, and I'll start writing up something soon. This is not a confirmation that he'll be reworked, but we check him against our rework criteria and goals." End quote. Not to be hateful because it's better late than never, but we as a Smite community suggested that Loki needed some kind of change for years now. But at any rate, the primary goal of this video is to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of Loki, and essentially my thoughts and opinions about what is needed to be changed in Loki's kit. I will also be making a poll for everyone who is viewing this to decide what is needed to be changed for Loki. I prefer if you have Loki Diamond because the more you play a specific god, the more likely you to understand that god's potential and drawbacks. For example, a question will be something like, what is the main problem in Loki's kit, or which part of his playstyle / kit is causing the most amount of issue for him and or game, something like that. So without further ado, let's discuss the strengths of Loki to figure out his weaknesses. His first strength is the most obvious one, but definitely the most problem as well. His massive single target burst. Without getting to the math portion of this, because throughout this analysis I could bust out the calculator, but instead I'm just going to use my experiences and anecdotes of Loki, which will be around like 5 years of experience, to make this more consistent and straightforward, and more relatable. Loki, without a doubt, especially before Loki nerfs, could kill any squishy target such as a mage in less than 2 seconds on average towards late game. Loki's second strength will be his mobility. Loki's Vanish ability provides like 35% movement speed and immunity to slows. His ultimate can also be used to teleport anywhere within a 55, I think, a unit distance and through most walls. So far, high damage and high mobility are the two critical components in making an assassin type class in Smite. His third strength is a unique strength for Loki, his ability to go invisible. There's also a second uniqueness that makes Loki stick out compared to other stealth characters, and I bet you guys can all guess. His stealth can only be broken through fear, stuns, mesmerizes, taunts, madness, and silences, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, if there's more. Most stealth characters break through any type of CC, and of course being damaged. There is Nuwa and Discordia, I think, whose stealth could not be broken through damage, or cannot be broken through damage, but would always be in that circle of fog, so, I mean, it's not really stealth if you know they're there, right? Loki has no containment, so he can really go anywhere he wants. He can stealth there, he can stealth there, he can stealth everywhere. His stealth also tells you if someone is doing an objective in the jungle with the 3 exclamation marks appearing above your head, unless you're in a tower or if you're revealed. Loki's fourth strength is that his Decoy is the only ability in this game that can instantly taunt all nearby minions, including Nuwa minions if she isn't taking damage, and has one of the safest and easiest clear. Now note, easiest and safest doesn't mean best clear. His Decoy even reduces his damage taken when jungling for around 3 seconds. It can also, well actually it is exactly 3 seconds. It can also distract the Pyromancer. His Decoy is also used to block most auto attacks, some abilities, and of course, body block enemies. Loki's fifth strength is the least crucial but still fundamentally there, his presence. Loki is a Punisher type, which means that if the enemy does something incorrectly, steps out of line, etc., no matter the size, Loki can easily use this to his advantage. And I know that most assassins use this as well, but actually probably all assassins, but in Loki's case, it's far easier to execute it because he can go invisible and he can teleport to you. So in general, those are Loki's strengths. And now I will discuss his weaknesses. His first weakness is that he is a single target damage dealer, just like his strength. In Smite, it is generally better to have an AoE damaging ability than a single target one. Loki is one of the very few assassins in this game that are actually a true single target damage dealer. In Smite, for example, it says gods like Thor is a single target damage dealer, even though all of his abilities can damage multiple gods at once. Loki cannot do this except for his decoy, but his decoy isn't used primarily to deal damage, so we're just going to ignore that one. This makes Loki very predictable and counterable since all of his primary damaging abilities are concentrated into his auto attacks, which can only be applied to one person at a time. So an active such as Aegis will make Loki basically useless. Loki's second weakness is his lack of crowd control. Loki only has two crowd control effects, which is a single target slow and a single target stun, which lasts only for 1 second, the stun wise. This makes Loki really bad at team fighting compared to Thor. I will compare Thor a lot because he is a popular character for many years, and especially now, but really any other assassin has better crowd control than Loki. His third weakness is his team fighting, and not to confuse that with teamfight presence, because Loki does provide pressure when two teams are staring at each other late game around Fire Giant, because if any squishies ignore Loki's presence for 1 second, then they are doomed to his blade. The main problem is when Loki fights against coordinated teams, which doesn't allow Loki to punish them because they're coordinated. This makes Loki immediately useless in most team fights. It forces Loki to make a Hail Mary and attempt a suicide bomb or just split push. His last major weakness is his split pushing. Yes, split pushing. I do not consider his split pushing as a strength because there are far better characters that can do this, such as Izanami or even Mercury, ever since, well, I'll mention them in a bit here. Apollo can also split push in teamfight thanks to his global ultimate. If this was like Kalari from Paragon, where he could use his ult to travel across the map in a second, then maybe it would be a different story. And then here are the reasons why Loki split pushing just sucks now. Ever since Titan's Bane got nerfed and no longer applies to towers, and his decoy that could never, ever in history remove backdoor protections in the first place, the only thing Loki has over other characters is the thing that I personally call stealth split pushing. Loki is the only character who can effectively split push without the enemy seeing you on the map. When you typically push a wave, you're always spotted on the map, so the enemy team will always know you're there. You would simply stealth first, walk up to the minion wave, and then decoy, and then run away. No one will ever know you were there. But split pushing as Loki is just a cheesy way to do things, since it heavily relies on your team to be able to defend against a 4v5. Split pushing is not very effective when your entire team dies, and now you have more than 2 people taking down your objectives, and then your Titan. And then you are forced to back because you're losing the game and solo fight many opponents, which does not work well since you are a complete single target character. Hopefully this makes sense. Now that we know his general strengths and weaknesses, let's first talk about the changes I've heard from many people regarding Loki's rework. The first suggestion I hear for Loki is mainly focused around his decoy. People have suggested giving Loki's decoy the ability to taunt enemy gods, which I find incredibly ridiculous. Giving Loki the ability to instantly taunt all Nimrod gods from a distance will just add to the frustration factor. And if you add a taunt when the enemy is damaged by Loki's decoy, then you really haven't accomplished anything in making Loki more viable or less frustrating. I mean, what are the odds of you getting hit by Loki's decoy? Very, very low, and it's not game-changing, or it doesn't make Loki do anything more than he already does. Another suggestion for his decoy is to make it essentially a poppable, like Scylla's Crush. You throw the 2 down, you pop it again, but maybe in a reduced damage. Again, the problem here isn't Loki's damage. And if you were to add a free poking source for Loki, then it will not end well. The last suggestion for Loki's decoy is to be able to swap positions or teleport to the decoy if you press the ability again. Again, mobility isn't Loki's issue here. Why would you want Loki to even be more slippery than he already is? For all the Loki mains out there, right? Imagine Vulcan, who is extremely slippery and he just has the ability to teleport or swap to his turret. If you don't like that idea, then why would you add that to Loki? There are 2 general suggestions for Loki's aim strike ability. One is to give it range and be able to throw it at someone, which may cripple them, and the other is to make it a short AoE to help his clear. Both of these ideas do not sound completely awful and may add more viability for Loki, Loki's aim strike ability deals the least amount of damage out of his entire kit, so it wouldn't be too bad if you were to make it ranged or so Loki can like bully people. But the idea of Loki isn't to make him excel at both ranged and close range. This would make Loki not want to engage as much because which makes it frustrating to fight against. Loki does need a better way to clear, however, because the only way to clear as Loki is when you have Decoy completely maxed out with at least like 2 or 3 damage items built. Now for the last part, I'm going to discuss what I want from the rework. I will not be saying what the rework should be because it really doesn't matter what we think since Hi-Rez does not accept kit designs from the community. That's right, the Reddit post you've spent probably an hour on designing a character doesn't do anything. It's pointless. The first thing I want Loki to have is his ability to stealth. If they decide to rework him, I want stealth to still be the primary thing in his playstyle. I play this character for like essentially 2 main reasons: damage and secrecy or stealth. I do not care how really the damage is applied. Like he could like do acrobatics. I don't care how the damage is applied so long as it deals enough damage to kill someone like relatively quick. As a long-lasting Loki main and smite, I enjoy Loki's current playstyle, but I still think he needs a type of rework because it's not viable. There's something clearly wrong with his kit. If Loki became a pure trickster with utility style kit design, then I would definitely dislike that and probably stop playing him. So that's about it. I do not want to make this video any longer, too long. Make sure to go down in the description if you want to take the survey. Again, it doesn't matter who you are. The last time I made a survey, I got over like 5,000 responses in like 2017, which is crazy. If we can get a similar result for this survey, it would definitely tell me what you guys think about Loki and even like important developers. Either through the eyes of Loki mains or Capri mains. Doesn't matter who you are, take the survey. That's going to be about it, guys. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, please post it down below, and I'll see you guys all Loki and non-Loki players next time.